Click on the subscribe button, especially the bell on the right side. Otherwise, you will miss the latest videos.
My name is Jean Kerazian, and I am from Lebanon. It's a small country in the Middle East, on the Mediterranean Sea. And I'm half Lebanese, half Armenian, living in an Arab world. And I was interested in Jyotish for around maybe 20 years ago. Well, friends of mine who do yogas and meditation and this kind of stuff told me that there's something called Jyotish, maybe more than 20 years ago. And I started to investigate to know more about this subject. And I brought my first book, Brihat Parasara Horasara. And I started reading, and I started to bring more books. I have around maybe more than 40 books. And I made a lot of research about it. First, it started with a spiritual question. Can we change our destiny? Can we do that? So that was my intention. Can we do that? So after 20 years, I came to a conclusion that it is something very, very difficult. But I've seen one person doing it. It's not me, but I think I saw one person doing it. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort, but it is possible. I also like to do a bit. I try to analyze a bit the politics in the world according to the planetary positions. I've done some predictions about world events. They are on my YouTube channel. You can look at them. Well, my first prediction was about the pandemic, about the virus. When Jupiter was going to Capricorn, it's not just that, but I saw three major events that are compromising Jupiter's position. They were the debilitated sign, the Saturn's conjunction, and Ketu's presence there. And in February, there was Mars also there. So it was something big. I said a few things about it, and it started like that. And then I started to do more predictions about my country, about other places. Basically, this is it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And good to see an astrologer from Lebanon.
Thank you.
All yours. Please start.
Well, before I start, I was always fond of the Indian tradition, and I always liked, since the beginning of my life, I had some ideas. Me being a Christian, there was some ideas that were born inside of me that had Indian roots, Hindu roots, I mean, Buddhism or Hinduism. So when I started reading more about Buddhism or Hindus, I felt many similarities between some ideas I had that were not familiar to our tradition. So basically, today's my sharing of idea will be something very basic, but because I'm starting with you newly, I want to start gradually and step by step, and I'm trying to give the lecture in some way that it is easy and informative. I tried to gather information from a lot of my books. One of them will be Bepin Behari's point of view about the Lagnas and the motivation.
Sounds good. Please carry on. Start.
Okay. First, okay, we will start by trying to understand what is the Lagna, because Lagna is the most important point in the chart, and from there we start all the roots of our predictions. If we want to go to the root meaning of this word, it has a lot of significances. For Jyotish, I will mention 3, and they are the beginning, marriage, and an auspicious moment. So basically, Lagna is the point on the horizon where a group of stars actually appear at the time of birth. It is strongly linked to the sun. It is like the sun is the Karaka for Lagna. And the sunrise, at the sunrise, the sun will always be in the Lagna, no matter the year, month, day, or season. We understand by this the strong relationship between the Lagna and the sun. It is as if the two are one. And this is very important because of the special ascendant that Maharshi Parasara talked about. They are all related to the sun. This point on the horizon is also important for the full moon. When we look at the full moon, when it starts from the sun. Like when the sun is rising, the full moon, when it's rising, it starts from the east, from the place where the sun rises. Also, the planets on the ecliptic, their light start to shine from the east. Also, when we look at the position of Lagna, this is also important. It is just the point where the sky and earth meets. It is at this point that heaven and earth, the spiritual and material, the metaphysical and physical, they meet there. If you look at the horizon at the time of the birth, on one part we will see the earth, and on the other part the heaven. I believe it is not by chance that Lagna is a trine and the quadrant or Kendra in the same time. If we ask ourselves why is this so, I think it's obvious that the trines represent the spiritual process of an individual, while the Kendras represent more the material side. Like the 4th house is the mother, home, properties. The 7th is marriage, travel, business. The 10th is our actions, karma, we generally create, and the career in general. Lagna is a trine and Kendra because it seems that God gave us a choice to choose our destiny, to choose the spiritual or material life. Here, I must say, most people think that spiritual means not enjoying life or not being in abundance, but I disagree with that. Being spiritual doesn't mean you have to be a poor guy. The trine houses, the 5th house, is the house of mantras. And the 9th house is the house of mantra, of dharma and morality. So here, the sages in ancient times gave more importance for a benefic to be in a Kendra, in a trine. They said it gives better effects. But in practice, we all know that a benefic in a Kendra gives good results. If a benefic is in the 4th house, it generally means a good relationship to mother, the house, the country. But why did the sages say that a benefic is better in a trine? Because a benefic planet, especially Venus, it gives some attachment to the place it is inside it, I mean the house. And when it gives attachment to a Kendra, it will activate more our attachments to the worldly affairs. That's why in Jyotish, the sages prefer the benefic in a trine. And because Jyotish, after all, has a spiritual root in the Vedas. Now, I'm just going to share the second meaning of the word Lagna. It is the marriage. It could also mean the union between the soul and the body. At this moment, the soul is independent from the mother's influence and is set into the world. Here starts the journey of the Kalapurusha, or the cosmic man. The third meaning of Lagna is an auspicious moment, a good moment. It is regarded that a birth is a good time for the soul. It harnesses the experiences needed for the growth of the consciousness. Now, coming to the Lagna in actual practice. The Lagna is the form, the image, and the self. They gave a lot of importance for the Lagna in Jyotish, and sometimes it is mentioned in classical books that the chart being strong by only other houses may not be enough. It may not lead to happiness, especially if Lagna is heavily afflicted. I mean, we see a lot of people that they have money, they have a lot of things, but internally they are not very happy. Because when the Lagna is afflicted, the individual may not be very happy, even if he has money and other stuff. This point of the chart is the foundation of the life of the native. It basically contains everything. It's like everything is in that house. It indicates the general intelligence, the learning, understanding, and it is also related to the general luck. I know that most of us, when we think about luck, we go to the 9th house or the 5th house. But actually, a lot of classical books talked about the Lagna's strength to have good luck in this life. This house is also the Bhavat Bhavam of the 7th house. It is a deep spiritual process to understand oneself by the partner. Fundamentally, an individual and his partner, they are a reflection of each other. And if we do a deep self-analyze, we will notice that. The Lagna is also the point that we stored and accumulated our karmas from the past life in a general overview. Now, I will mention this from Bipin Behari's book. I have a lot of books of Bipin Behari. When I started, he had spiritual teachings about Jyotish principles, and I was fond of him. So in his book, Esoteric Principles of Vedic Astrology, he gave importance to the Lagna Lord's position, and it indicates a strong and basic motivation of the individual. Suppose when we have the Lagna Lord is in the Lagna itself, it usually gives a strong need to work on the self in a spiritual sense if the Lagna is not afflicted. In some cases, especially when there is benefic influence from Jupiter, it gives this spiritual sense. Now, in some cases, when Lagna and its Lord are afflicted, it can give some narcissistic behavior. It may lead to intense and extreme desire to acquire material objects, especially if the Ascendant Lord is in the Ascendant and it is afflicted. Now, when the Lagna Lord is in the 2nd house, it can give tendencies to be more interested in money and family. There will also always be some need for being a speaker, to give some speech, and the need to be to have a kind of a role like a missionary. When the Lagna Lord is in the 3rd house, it shows some interest with siblings, a strong relationship with them, and also some energy and courage and valor. People usually will be interested in such kind of things. When the Lagna Lord is in the 4th house, usually it shows strong tendencies and deep and intense emotions, especially towards mother. I have seen that in many charts. It often, if afflicted, can be conflicting. It is also, the 4th house is a mysterious house. under good condition, a person may sacrifice a lot for other people. Under afflicted situation, it can show a person who doesn't care about the others, and he cares only for his achievements. Now, when the Lagna Lord is in the 5th house, it can show a person who can be happy in creative and spiritual activities. They can sacrifice in a spiritual sense for others. They often use prayer, quite often, like mantras or prayers. But under afflicted Lagna and 5th house, when the Lagna is in the 5th house, when those are afflicted, there can be signs of using some energies that we may call black magic or such kind of activities. Now, when the Lagna Lord is in the 6th house, it usually shows tendencies for a lot of conflicts. A native will always be and will always have a feeling that he is engaged in activities that he is struggling and he becomes tired. Now, I will give some examples in the end about those basic things that we spoke about. When the Lagna Lord is in the 7th house, it usually means a person is hardly satisfied by normal achievements and often has the need to go for the unseen or the unordinary world. And he needs to make some accomplishments and realizations that are really, really hard to achieve. Because under normal circumstances, he won't be satisfied in those things, in normal things. Such kind of person, when he has the Lagna Lord in 7th house, will have a strong interest and deep relationship with the partner, if it is not afflicted, of course. Now, the Lagna Lord in the 8th house, there will always be sudden changes in the person's life. There will be a lot of secrets. There will also be occult and mysterious activities. And those activities will often call him or will drag him or attract him. The Lagna Lord in the 9th house often shows strong motivation and respect for religious places and Brahmins, and of course under normal condition. And it rouses spiritual sense in him that he will feel like he needs to live his life by the book. I mean, by what the spiritual teachings or books tell him by. This is the basic motivation for the Lagna Lord in the 9th house. Now, when the Lagna Lord is in the 10th house, it will often show a person who identifies himself with his work, what he does in the world, and his actions and accomplishments. The Lagna Lord in the 11th house often shows attachment to the worldly affairs, even if you have a spiritual tendency. Like I know there are a lot of spiritual teachers who had this combination. They always find themselves making a big society in their spiritual world. So basically, they will have this motivation, and they will find themselves attracted to social events and gatherings, even in their spiritual, even for spiritual peoples, because the 11th house is the house of desires and social life. Even spiritual people tend to have this, but in a good way. The Lagna Lord in the 12th house often shows a mind who is interested in life after death, in the world beyond. They often live in the past and have a view for the world that this world is material, and they are not very interested in this world. Of course, this is when it is somehow there is benefic influences. And I have seen this combination afflicted. They become very dangerous people. They become very interested in death. they create that. I saw that in politicians' charts. It can become very dangerous. So those are some basic indicators. Of course, this goes by the very basic Jyotish rules in Vedic astrology, that we cannot conclude everything only by this placement. We have to analyze everything together. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show some people's chart. They are, of course, important people, and I'm going just to give my opinion how I look at it. Does anyone have any question before I start? Okay. Is my screen shared?
Yes.
Is everyone able to see it? Okay, thank you. So the first chart I chose is for Charlie Chaplin. He has his Lagna Lord, Venus, in the 7th house. And by this chart, I will try to explain about two things that I spoke about. The one thing that when the Lagna and the Lagna Lord are afflicted, the person will not be very happy. And when the Lagna Lord is in the 7th house, a person will not be satisfied by ordinary achievements. So we all know the life of Charlie Chaplin. He was a great comedian, and he gave a lot of accomplishments in what he does, but yet he wasn't very happy. He was always sad. Why? Because Venus is with the Sun and Mars, and the sign is not very good. It is retrograde, and it has the aspect of Saturn. And we must also notice that Gulika is in Lagna. So there is the Lagna and Lagna Lord are compromised. They are not functioning very well. And I want to mention this about Charlie Chaplin, that while he was doing movies and they created the technology for putting the sound in the movies, he refused to do that. He said that he's going to continue doing what he does in a difficult way, to impress people more by being only silent. So he was kind of trying to do some achievements that are not normal. He tried to go to the pristine, to the most difficult things. He couldn't be satisfied by doing normal things. So next, I'm going to share Hitler's chart. Again, I will try to...
John sir, sorry to interrupt you. Can you just make it screen big? Can you make it full screen?
Okay, let me see if I...
It is on the upper left corner. The fourth icon, save, undo. The fourth icon in the upper left.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to see the...
You can see the menu bar, file, home, insert, design, transition.
There's more. You mean in the PowerPoint or in the Zoom?
Yes, in the PPT, in the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Above the menu bar, there is 4 icons are there.
Okay. The design, you mean?
No, above that.
Above
yes,
that
yes.
file. File.
Not file, sir. Go back. Above the menu bar.
Menu. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not able to see it.
No,
Uh,
just
the
above
blue-
the insert.
टीचर की लिस्ट
You see an insert.
इनके बस ऐड कर
Just above insert menu, just above it.
insert above it. Ah, okay.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So something happened here.
Yeah, it will transition to full screen. Huh? No, let it complete. Yeah, we are good.
Okay, so I will just. So this is Hitler's chart. Is this okay for everyone?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so if we look at Hitler's chart, he has his Lagna Lord in the 8th house. I will assume that we have an idea about Hitler's life and his motivations. This chart, it really teaches us a lot, because when I said about the 8th house, I said that when a Lagna Lord, as per Bepin Beharis, he said that Lagna Lord, if it is in the 8th house, it will usually bring a lot of sudden changes in the person's life. And he will have occult or mysterious attractions to life. And the 8th house is the house of changes and destruction and dangers. So if we look at Hitler's life, he was interested a lot in the mysterious things in life. And he also used the swastika, I think. He turned it around. He took it from the Indian tradition, and he was a lot interested in Buddhism and Hinduism. And his life basically was he was a normal soldier at the First World War, and his life suddenly changed. He didn't come from a politician's family, or he didn't basically have something important in politics. But his life changed dramatically and suddenly. If we look at Yamagantaka, it's in the Lagna, it will usually give good effects. In Faladipika, they mentioned that it acts like Jupiter. I've seen it acting in the Lagna even better than Jupiter. So especially when the sign is not very comforting, like Virgo. I think that Yamagantaka acts better than Jupiter in this sign. So we all know that all what is related about the 8th house, we will see it in Hitler's life. He led sudden changes, he led destructions, he led dangers. He also had occult motivations. So basically, it seems to me obvious. Are you able to see the way I look at it? Is it obvious for other people, or? Okay, so now we will try to look at Putin's chart. Okay, like I said, when the Lagna Lord is in Lagna, it usually is on the edge of the spiritual life or the material life. So Putin shows interest in both. He shows he is loyal to his Orthodox Church, and in the same time, he is a person that he loves to grow. One of my predictions in July 2020 was about Putin, and there was a lot of dashas being activated in 2022, and it was a period that he is going to expand. So I basically said that because we have Venus in the Ascendant, it is comfortable. With the 9th Lord, Mercury may not be very perfect, but there is Jupiter's influence there, and we have Yamagantaka also there. So a lot of benefits on the first house and the first lord. So we all know that when Putin came to power, Russia was not a very great country. So after ruling for about 20 years, now we all know that Russia grew in power, and it grew internationally. And I'm not saying this. I'm not favoring or I'm not promoting Putin. I'm against war. I'm not with the things that he's doing. Basically, any politician who I like or dislike, when he engages in war, I don't like him anymore. But if we look at it, we will see that Putin came to power in one of the greatest powers in the world, and he grew, and Russia grew with him. And if we remember, in the year 2022, a year ago, they created for the first time a rocket that is faster than the sound. And they created a lot of technologies, but basically this was one of the most important ones that even the United States didn't have it at that time. I think still they don't have it. I think there are only 4 countries that have this technology. I think India and China are one of them. So also, it is obvious to me that Putin is he enjoys life. If we look at Putin's life like 10 years ago, we will always see him in some activities, in some sports, doing something. Every time he does something that it shows that he's really enjoying life. He also goes to some extreme sports. So basically, when we see the Lagna and Lagna Lord are under benefic influences, we will see someone enjoying life. I'm sorry I had to put Putin in one of the examples, but it was very obvious to me. I usually don't like to promote anyone, even if I like him or dislike him. So now we will go to Oprah Winfrey. We are all, I think we all know about her. If we look, before I speak about the Lagna and the Lagna position, if we look at the second house, it has some planets in it. It has the 9th Lord. It has Venus, which is related to the 11th house. There is exchange of houses between Saturn and Venus, and they are friendly and they help each other a lot. And they are dispositor of each other's, like Saturn is exalted, the Lord of the second. He gave her a lot of money. She has a lot of money. She was one of the most famous celebrities in the United States. But if we go to her life, her early life, I think up until now, she really basically doesn't enjoy life much. And if people are familiar with her, we know that Oprah Winfrey suffered a lot in her childhood, and she was raped, I think, in her mother's house. And she basically had a lot of struggles and had a lot of enmity. So her life basically is, her life shows a lot of struggles, and as the Lagna Lord's position indicates, even though she has the money, she has the power, and she has a lot of things that other people don't have, but still inside she's not happy, and she was prone to very dangerous situations in her life. So basically, this was the small introduction I wanted to give about the importance of Lagna. There is also one more thing I want to say about the Sun and the Lagna relationship. And we've done a video with Dr. Gary Gomes explaining more about the special ascendants and the Vargas, the use of them, how I interpret it. It may soon go in the Saptarishi YouTube, but I will just try to explain the relationship between the sun and the role of the ascendant, and my point of view about how to look at the ascendant and the special ascendants. When Maharshi Parasara spoke about the Lagna, he gave he in some chapter, in the early chapters, he said now those are the special Lagnas. We have the Bhava Lagna, Hora Lagna, and the Ghati Lagna. He said basically, and he was very obvious about it, he said, as keeping the planets as they are, you put the you put the Bhava Lagna, then you put the Hora Lagna or Ghati Lagna. Now you have 4 ascendants. You look at the person's chart from 4 different point of views, from 4 different perspectives. What I noticed, that all those are related to the sun. If you want to calculate the Lagna, it is related to the sun. If you want to calculate the Bhava Lagna, it is related to the sun, to the sunrise. Hora Lagna is related to the sunrise. Ghati Lagna is related to the sunrise. Everything that Maharshi Parasara said about making Lagna and putting the planets as we look at the Rasi chart are related to the sunrise and the sun. What I want, the reason I wanted to say this is that I couldn't find any as far as for me. I found this technique working in a very good way, and I know this may contradict a lot with a lot of people, but I couldn't see any classical indication to use the Varga system as a Lagna method. Suppose we have Navamsha or something else in a chart. I couldn't find any classical books or any classical book that promotes the using of a Lagna system other than what Maharshi Parasara said, the Lagna, Rashi Lagna, and the special Lagnas. And again, I want to say that they are all related to the sun and to the sunrise, the Lagna positions. So basically, this is what I wanted to share. If anyone has any questions, I'm ready to answer. If not, maybe this is it.
Thank you very much, John, sir, for your great lecture. Anybody is having any queries, they can raise their hand and they can come up with a question. Okay. Sir, I think no questions are there. So this is a very crystal clear explanation. Thank you so much for your...
Thank you. Before I go, I just want to express my appreciation for this great, important event, the Guru Purnima. I would also like to sincerely thank Dr. Gary Gomes because after New Year, he asked me to participate in this event, and it was really a good opportunity for me to engage in this Jyotish community, and it really expands me a lot.
Thank you, sir.
And I would also like to thank Mr. Sunil John, the owner of the magazine, and the Saptarishi team for making all this possible. Thank you for all who listened, and thank you for all the team. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will participate in more events, and we will go more deeply step by step with it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.